Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. It is Saturday. Welcome to Inside Arsenal. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. You're watching this on Saturday. I'm actually recording it on Friday because I'm flying to Germany on Saturday morning. So probably right now, actually, while you're watching this video, I'm probably about 35,000 feet in the air on my way to Germany to speak at the Frankfurt Book Fair. So I wanted to still get an episode done. I wanted to do a big sort of match day preview of the game against Chelsea. Do my Arsenal likely predicted 11? That sort of thing. So I've recorded it a little bit early. So if something massive has happened overnight, if there's been a big Arsenal talking point that I'm seemingly completely ignoring in this episode, it's just because I've pre-recorded it on the Friday, and that is why. There's no other reason. But yeah, I felt like I still wanted to do something today, so thought I'd get a pre-recorded episode in. Right, let's get started, shall we? As we head towards Arsenal versus Chelsea. Now, again, at the time of recording this, Arsenal haven't put out any training pictures yet. So we haven't been able to do our usual pour over the training pictures, sort of zoom into the background, see who we can or can't see in the training pictures. They did put out, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see I put it up on the screen, this inside training video, but they did it it was very carefully managed, as is the way with Arsenal when it comes to Arsenal team news, as myself and James Ben spoke about on our Inside Arsenal Extra Time a little bit earlier on in the week, and how they're very carefully manage what goes out before games. And when you look at that inside training video, all of the players who are, I don't know what if you want to describe them as injury doubts for the game. So Bukayo Saka, Leandro Trossard, William Saliba, those sort of players, none of them feature in it. All of the players that are kind of focused on it, it's like one little group. I think you see, Eddie all the time, Smith Rowe all the time, Gabby Martinelli, all those sort of players who there weren't any injury doubts over. They're all included in the video. But the rest of them, like I said, the ones who we weren't 100% sure about whether they would start, they are not in the episode. But I wouldn't read too much into that. I think that's just Arsenal probably doing what Arsenal do now, and directions come from from Mikel Arteta, who we know is very, very keen to keep all sort of team news under wraps. Chelsea, perhaps a little bit more open, shall we say, when it comes to team news ahead of this game. Pochettino was speaking at his press conference yesterday. Here's what he had to say. He said, I think we need to assess now, as we've finished the training session a little bit late, we need to assess Axel Disasi. We need to assess Nico Jackson, also Reece James. We need to assess Reece was training good the last few days, and it's now to talk about with all the medical staff and everything, and then decide if he can be part of the squad. Armando Broja is out because he's irritated the knee a little bit. So no Broja for Chelsea. Reece James, he's been in full training the last couple of days, so you would think he is probably going to make the squad. Whether he goes straight into the starting 11 is potentially another thing. But looks like Nico Jackson should be fine after, I think he had some surgery on his wrist or something like that. I've seen that he might wear a cast on his wrist to be fit, and that's obviously important for Chelsea with Broja out. So you imagine Jackson's going to be leading the line against Saliba and Gabriel, and looks like Disasi might well be fit as well. But Reece James is a big one for Chelsea. They're obviously very, very keen for him to play. Not everyone, though, thinks that would be a good thing. As Abinio here has sent in a message saying, I hope Chelsea starts James against us. Martinelli will kill him. Well, I hope he doesn't actually kill him, but I see what you mean in that. And I suppose there is an argument for a player who has not played much this season, who is been struggling with a hamstring injury. Do you throw him straight back in a game as big as the one that tonight, as you're watching it on Saturday, is going to be, and against a forward and a winger like Gabriel Martinelli, who is going to test him so much when it comes to like hamstrings, his acceleration, his pace. Martinelli, we know he's just not going to give anyone a second's rest. And I think when Chelsea make their decision on Reece James, that's probably going to have to come into the thinking that if you're up against a more, less mobile, less explosive winger than Gabriel Martinelli, then you might be tempted just to throw him straight back in and start him. But I think you've got to know that hamstring is absolutely 100% when you're going up against a forward like Gabriel Martinelli. But we shall wait and see. I mean, the Arsenal team news, again, Arsenal being very, very close. Wrapped in it, Mikel speaking yesterday certainly seemed to hint from those comments that he was saying about Bukayo Saka that he should be okay. He said Saka's been working so hard to be fit for this game. So fingers crossed Bukayo will be fine. William Saliba, I fully expect William Saliba to start. Gabriel, He he's flown a lot of miles. He's clocked up a lot of air miles. Gabriel Jesus as well, but I still think both of those two will be okay to start for Arsenal, and potentially they might well have the strongest possible 11 that I think most fans, if you pick to start an 11 from the current squad, the one we see at Stamford Bridge later on tonight, providing nothing's happened that has been kept under wraps, could well be their starting 11 the majority of the fans would go for. Right, there's been lots of talk in both press conferences. Look at Mikel. If you're watching this on YouTube, look at Mikel Arteta in that picture. Just so young. I think he was 19. I think when he went over to Paris, just look. Well, he is a kid looking in that picture, so young. And that's Pochettino. I'm sure you can tell behind him. And there's been lots of talk in the build up to this game from both managers about the relationship. Now they both went to Paris. They both arrived on the same day. Both stayed in the same hotel for pretty much 3 months and just became the best of friends, almost like brothers, really. Pochettino, the older brother, Arteta, the younger brother. Arteta was speaking about it in yesterday's press conference. Pochettino's been speaking about it as well. He said, I have amazing memories when you connect with a person like him. We share the values and the passions of football. Yes, I can tell you he's part of my family from day one when we arrived in Paris. We arrived together. We spent time together with our families also. First of all, in a few months in a hotel, and then we lived very close. It was an amazing, amazing history. He has not surprised me what he is doing because he was a coach already when he was 17. When I looked at him, he was already a coach. Trust me, he was really, really good. The judgment, how he sees football, it has not surprised me that he is great. He is still really young, improving day by day. He can be one of the greatest managers in the world. When you're a coach in Arsenal and you're showing what the team is showing, it is because he is one of the best. I don't care if he is 30 years old, 40 years old. He is showing that he is one of the best coaches in the world. And I'm not sure there's too many people who can really argue with that. Arteta was speaking about Pochettino as well in the build-up to the game. I won't go into all of those quotes, but he was saying how he was critical, said he was one of the most influential people in his career. Firstly, as a player, when he took me under my arm and looked after me like a little brother. And then he also said that he was, as a coach as well, like he really helped him with the decision when Mikel was deciding whether or not to move into coaching after retiring at Arsenal. So it'll be interesting to see how those two get on the touchlines today. I imagine there'll be a very warm embrace before the game, but as we know, especially when it comes to Mikel Arteta, those during the 90 minutes when the whistle is going, it's just pure intensity, and I don't think there'll be too much love lost during the game, but afterwards, I'm sure there will be as well. So yeah, two best friends in the dugout on Saturday. Okay, predicted 11 wise. This is what I'm going for today's game. Like I said, I probably think this is the strongest possible team that Arsenal could go for in this game. Yeah, no, I'm going to say I think that's probably Arsenal's strongest 11 that they've got in this squad today, if this is the team that Mikel Arteta plays. So Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel Zinchenko, then Partey, Odegaard, Rice, Saka, Martinelli, and Gabriel Jesus. It'll be the first time we see Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus start together in a game, if that is what happens. That's going to be a big, big thing for Arsenal. Yes, there was some really interesting quotes from Mikel in yesterday's press conference when he was answering a question from James McNicholas, Gunnerblog, as you probably all know him from The Athletic. And James was asking him about how, although, Arsenal defensively looks so strong at times this season, maybe going forward, they've lost a little bit of that spark and that sort of impact in the final third that they had last season. He was asking Mikel about it, and Mikel gave some really good responses to it. If you haven't seen it yet, go over to James's social media. I saw he put up a sort of transcript picture of it. It's well worth a read. And, he's got a point that, I'm sure that Arsenal are going to look so much more fluent going forward and so much more of a threat going forward when Saka, Martinelli and Jesus start to play together regularly, because we just haven't seen it last season. Those were the three that caused teams so many problems last year, with Odegaard in behind them as well. And we just haven't seen that this year. So it's no surprise that Arsenal haven't maybe been as good going forward as they potentially could be. And if we see that sort of quartet of Odegaard in the 10 role, Saka, Martinelli and Jesus, rotating, pressing together, it's going to cause defenses all sort of problems. So I'm really, really excited to see that happen if Saka gets the green light and is pass fit today. And then the midfield, as I've spoken about in videos sort of leading up throughout this week, it's going to be a really crucial decision. Will it be Partey? Will it be Jorginho? My predicted 11, I've gone with Thomas Partey, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if it is Jorginho. And I know a few of you have said maybe this is a game for Tomiyasu, but I still think Zinchenko plays. I'd be very surprised if Zinchenko doesn't play. Tomiyasu, I'm sure, will come on, probably be the first substitute as usual around the hour mark. But I think Zinchenko plays just to try and get Arsenal a little bit of control in that midfield early on. Someone here, AJ Abroad, says Trossard should start. He needs games at a proven top class, especially against the big teams. Look, I like Leandro Trossard, but I don't think he starts this game. I don't even know if he's fit. Obviously, he was suffering with, I think it was hamstring, wasn't it? He went off at half-time against Manchester City. We don't know if he's fit yet, but even if he is, I don't think Trossard starts this game. I think Martinelli absolutely starts on the left-hand side. Now Martinelli's back, he's going to start, and he's going to start most games. So important for Arsenal. It's so influential. He saw it against Manchester City when he was, performing like that on the back of about one training session after so long out. I think he definitely starts this game. But yeah, Trossard hopefully can make an impact off the bench. Here's one from One Nation 9510 says, I think experience in Jack Wilshere's situation is never definitive. It's never enough or too much. For example, Gareth Southgate becoming England manager after unimpressive stints at club level. Arteta had no previous managerial experience before becoming Arsenal manager. If you feel it, do it. Look, I get your point. Obviously, this is in response to me saying yesterday that I still think it'd be better for Wilshere just to stick it out at Arsenal for probably another year or 2 years, just to continue on his coaching journey, really, which is still so young, and not head over to the States just yet and take this Colorado Rapids job. But I see what you mean. Absolutely. I don't think age really means anything. And like you said, experience might not mean anything. In Wilshere's case, though, looking at it, given how quickly he's just basically gone straight from playing straight into coaching, and now all of a sudden within a few months could potentially, well, not a few months, but you see what I mean, could potentially be a manager already. That just feel, I don't know, and especially over in the States, in a team that is really struggling, at a club where the fan base is so at odds with its ownership, who of course are Arsenal's owners, the Cronkies, but they are the fans. It's a really divided football club at the moment. It feels like a really big job to take on as your first job, especially so far away and out of your comfort zone. So that's my thought, but obviously you've got a different view, and fair play on that. Appreciate your comment and sending it in. And that is about it for today's episode. Like I said, if I've missed anything, if there's been a big topic that I haven't discussed that's sort of become a big topic over the last 12 hours or so, it's because this has been a pre-recorded show, because I'm flying out to Germany. I am going to hopefully see the game later. I'm going to get myself to a pub, watch the game, and I'm taking my computer and everything with me. So hopefully I will do a video, if not sort of pretty much on the whistle, then I'll certainly do a video back in my hotel room that I'll put out on Sunday morning discussing the game and hopefully what will be a big Arsenal win. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Appreciate your time. As always, have a very good Saturday. Come on, the Arsenal. I'll speak to you soon.